The darkness of the Middle Eastern night, the sky suddenly comes alive, not with stars, but with streaks of fire. Trails of missiles cut across the horizon, sirens echo through cities, and millions of civilians rush for shelter as another wave of conflict unfolds. What you're witnessing isn't just another military exchange, it's part of a rapidly escalating confrontation between Iran and Israel that is reshaping the entire region. Tonight, reports confirm that Iran has launched a new barrage of missiles toward Israeli territory, marking yet another phase in a conflict that has been intensifying since early 2026. This isn't an isolated strike, it's part of a broader campaign of retaliation and counter-retaliation that began when the United States and Israel carried out coordinated attacks on Iranian targets earlier this year. As the missiles rise into the sky, Israeli defense systems are immediately activated. Advanced interception systems begin tracking incoming threats within seconds. Alerts are sent directly to civilians' phones, warning them to take cover. In cities like Tel Aviv and Haifa, the sound of sirens has become almost routine, yet the danger is very real. Despite one of the most sophisticated missile defense networks in the world, not every projectile is stopped. Some missiles break through, explosions light up residential areas, shrapnel rains down, and emergency services scramble into action. This is the reality of modern warfare, fast, unpredictable, and deeply dangerous for civilians caught in the middle. Since the conflict began in late February 2026, Iran has launched multiple waves of missile attacks targeting Israel. These strikes are not random, they are calculated responses to earlier airstrikes on Iranian military infrastructure and leadership figures. The scale of these attacks has been significant, with thousands injured and dozens killed as both sides escalate their operations. Wikipedia. But what makes this latest attack different? First, the intensity. Military analysts suggest that Iran has been refining its tactics, using a combination of ballistic missiles and drones in coordinated waves designed to overwhelm Israeli defenses. Some of these weapons include advanced systems like the Zulfiqar ballistic missile and the now widely recognized Shahed drones, which have become central to Iran's strategy. Second, the timing. This new wave comes amid growing regional instability. Tensions are not limited to Israel and Iran, they're spreading across the Middle East. From the Strait of Hormuz to Lebanon, multiple flashpoints are active at the same time, increasing the risk of a wider war. And third, the message. Iran has made it clear that these attacks are not just military operations, they are signals. Signals of deterrence, retaliation, and power projection. Earlier strikes were described by Iranian officials as acts of revenge, following assassinations and airstrikes attributed to Israel. On the Israeli side, the response is equally firm. The government maintains that these operations are necessary for national security. Military officials emphasize that every missile intercepted, and every one that isn't, reinforces the need for continued defensive and offensive readiness. But beyond the military strategies and political statements, there is a human story unfolding. Families huddled in shelters, children woken in the middle of the night by sirens, emergency responders risking their lives to reach impact zones, hospitals preparing for mass casualty scenarios at a moment's notice. This is the cost of escalation, and it's being paid in real time. As the missiles continue to be launched, one critical question remains: where does this go next? Some experts believe the conflict could expand further, drawing in additional countries and triggering a broader regional war. Others argue that both sides may eventually be forced toward negotiations, especially under international pressure. There are already signs of global concern. Diplomatic efforts are underway, with multiple countries attempting to mediate and prevent further escalation. Yet, at the same time, military actions continue, suggesting that a resolution is still far from reach. Another key factor is the role of technology in this conflict. Modern warfare has evolved dramatically, and this confrontation highlights how missile systems, drones, and air defenses are redefining the battlefield. The speed at which decisions must be made, sometimes within seconds, adds another layer of complexity and risk. And then there's the psychological impact. When people look up and see missiles crossing the sky, it changes something. It's no longer distant news, it's immediate, visible, and terrifying. The image of glowing trails overhead has become one of the defining visuals of this conflict. For viewers around the world, these scenes raise deeper questions about global stability, military power, and the future of warfare. What does deterrence look like in an age where both sides can strike within minutes? How do nations balance defense with escalation? And most importantly, how do civilians stay safe in the middle of it all? As this situation continues to unfold, one thing is certain: the world is watching closely. Because what happens here doesn't stay here. Energy markets, global security alliances, and international diplomacy are all affected by what's happening in the skies over Israel tonight. Even regions far from the conflict are feeling the ripple effects. And as the night goes on, the question remains unanswered: will this be just another exchange in an ongoing war, or the beginning of something even larger? For now, the sirens continue. The defenses remain active, and the skies tell a story that words alone cannot capture. Stay with us for more updates as this situation develops.